I'm David Bloom with XTMT here at the Stream TV show at the live studios with Tony Huidor, who is the President, Technology and Chief Product Officer for Cineverse, one of the more interesting companies out there in the video space, I think. Tony and Cineverse made some big announcements recently about a new spun-off division built around Matchpoint. And Matchpoint is your all's effort to rethink the way search and discovery is done. So talk to me about Matchpoint, where you guys are going with it, and the problem you think you have solved.
Great. Thank you, David. Thank you for having us. We've been developing Matchpoint for the last 10 years, and it's really become the foundation for how the entire company runs. This has allowed us to really focus on next generation initiatives, and one of them that we just announced recently that we've been working on for 4 years is cineSearch, where we believe we've solved the problem of search and discovery using AI and using Matchpoint components to really create a new system for solving the search and discovery problem.
And what is it that's different about cineSearch and Matchpoint behind it that's solved that answer? You did a lot of blocking and tackling, very fundamental work to reconsider what programming is, right? Right.
Really the challenge, and this is an area I feel really strongly about, is we as an industry are relying on metadata that was developed 75 years ago.
Terrible metadata.
Terrible metadata.
They didn't even have the word, did they?
No, exactly. And that's called descriptive metadata, and that was really intended to be used for TV listings, TV guide, and the back of a VHS cassette.
Right.
It wasn't intended to be the sole material used for searching. So the approach we're taking is we have scanned movies and entire catalogs to understand a film intrinsically at a scene-by-scene level, so that we're not relying on the metadata for search, but we're relying on what's inside the film to search for it. So one of the examples I use a lot is search for best holiday movie on any streaming service, and they will all fail. In our example, you get It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, and most importantly, Die Hard, because through our understanding of film, we know that Die Hard is set in the wintertime during Christmas.
Your understanding of Christmas movies, I have to say, is both, I think, culturally appropriate and completely oblique to me, because I don't think of Die Hard as a Christmas movie, but I apparently am the only person in America.
It is definitely a topic of debate, but I would say for us, it's not like we selected that. The AI brought that up.
That's how folks think.
And that's what's interesting about this AI data, that relationships you didn't know were there suddenly become very visible.
Right. And I find that really interesting. I mean, just the fact that we went from TV Guide and not metadata, but meathead data, to something a little smarter and more nuanced and deep inside the soul of the show, as it were. And I think that's really important. You're going to be on 2 panels in the next couple of days here at the show, and thank you for that. But what kind of stuff are you going to be talking about? Mostly this stuff, or where you're going?
A lot of the topics I will be sharing and discussing is really how do we move forward as an industry, and one is obviously moving beyond traditional metadata to more advanced enriched metadata to really solve a couple things: user experience, personalization. These are areas that we as an industry really are behind on. We have smart TVs that aren't very smart, and in order to get there, we need to start moving forward with personalization, and that's just been an area that no one in the business is really focusing on at the level that we should be.
They're hard questions to solve, right? I mean, I think that's part of the challenge, and so you have been really focused on this in a somewhat different approach, which is great. Now, Matchpoint and cineSearch are, your biggest client is Cineverse, but it's not going to be your only one.
Correct, and part of what we're now focused on in my new role is taking Matchpoint and the technology that we've developed specifically for the streaming industry and make it available as a SaaS product to bigger media companies who are all struggling. Being here at the show, one of the themes I hear is VOD has become the new hot thing, and everyone is struggling on delivering VOD. And that is what Matchpoint was developed to solve 5 years ago. And so we feel we have the right solution for the right time and the right
if it's
industry.
video on demand, and you demand a video that can't be found or doesn't understand what you're asking, then it's useless, right? So.
Exactly, and that's what's interesting between cineSearch and Matchpoint. The entire solution was designed to help find content, help distribute content more widely, to make content more available for the consumer to have more choice. And that's really what our focus and what we feel that as Matchpoint we enable within the industry.
Cool. So where do you go from here? I know that you've always got something brewing in your little skunk works there at cineSearch. Where do you go next?
Thank you for asking. You know, the advantage that we have is we've solved the day-to-day problems of running a streaming service, so it allows us to focus on next generation initiatives. Given that we're in an ad-supported market, ad tech is an area that we will be investing in heavily. We think there's opportunities there. There's certain segments of the industry that aren't being properly addressed. The kids market, for example, is one area where we think there's room for innovation. And then, of course, there's new types of content. As viewing behavior shifts and changes, we're starting to see areas in the business, such as microdramas, where there's an opportunity for us to enter a space early because we feel we have the right foundational technology.
Sure. The microdramas, I think, are really interesting. It'd be fun to see what you guys do, but that's actually what they also call this show, the microdrama. With that, I think we'll wrap it up. I'm David Bloom with NextCMT here at the Stream TV show with Tony Huidor, the President Technology and Chief Product Officer for cineSearch. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, David.